but I was in there. And then what these people didn't see is the rocket launches wasn't killing the rebels. He was killing their own people,
Of
its
course, of
own
course,
country,
of course, of course.
its own,
Yes, yes,
kingsman. He was
yes,
killing us.
yes,
Yes, I see
yes.
people. I see on I can't say it because it's too graphic. Here for people to be
Yes.
watching, but I see things that I can't explain.
Go. Well, hello, 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 StemToRoots, where we plan on talking our way into a plan. Today we have somebody super special, a woman that has lived 10 lifetimes in one. You will find out why. Listen, sis, tell my people who you are, where you're from, whatever you're willing to share, what you do. Please introduce yourself.
So, hello everyone. My name is Millicent Yabom
Yeah, boom.
Conteh-Brown. I am from Sierra Leone, West Africa, and I am a mother and married, and I migrated to the United States 2008, October 21st. Yes,
Well,
and I what else? I was a nurse when I came here. Like in 6 months, I was a nursing assistant. I worked at nursing assistant and fall in love. Worked at hospice, end of life care.
oh,
Fall in
wow.
love with like taking care of people, and then later I went to school and I'm trying to be a nurse. Then I switched.
Oh, you
Yes,
switched to
yes,
what?
I switched. So I switched because I noticed that I love taking care of people, but I noticed that I was in a civil war in Sierra Leone.
Mm,
So and then we that affected me mentally. I was traumatized for many years, still traumatized. But I found healing when I came here to the United States because I had to talk to people who were not allowed to talk about it, and our African culture, anything that happened to you, like you just buried it and pretend like nothing ever happened. So when I came here, I found healing. Talking to people like counseling, and counseling helped me greatly. So I
mm.
switched to become like studying psychology and mental health, so I can give back to my community. Hopefully, I can go back to Freetown and give back what has helped me to become who I am today.
So now you're studying psych and mental health.
Yes.
There's so much to unpack in just your introduction. Now
Thank
I don't even
you.
know where to start.
You can start
Whatever I had
anywhere.
listed, now I'm gonna tear this. Wow. Let's go all the way back to. I'm gonna go straight to the war
Okay.
because if the war was since like '91,
Mm-hmm.
it started in '91. Took just this is the Sierra Leone civil war for
Yes,
anybody that
10
doesn't
years,
know.
9 months, and 3 weeks to be exact.
11 years, right?
Yes, almost.
And okay, I call that the official date, right? I call that the official date. The war ended. Somebody signed something that we should put all the weapons down, and
Yes.
we're declaring this as peace. But the fight has not ended.
No.
You, in your introduction, just talked about the things you had to fight through. There's a lot more people out there fighting for identity now, fighting to recover from trauma, fighting mental health, fighting like a sense of belonging. So the war is ongoing. So even though it officially ended in 2022, it's still ongoing. Let's just acknowledge that for
It
now.
is. It is.
You
My reason,
migrated here
yes.
2008. Where were you before that? Yes.
Sierra Leone. I was in Sierra Leone. So
Wow.
you said to go back to the war. When I was young, and so I grew up with my mother. I mean, with my grandmother. like our culture. It will go back to the book, but I grew up with my grandmother because my father is white American and my mother is Sierra Leonean. So let's go back to that. I grew up in Sierra Leone. I grew up in Sierra Leone with my grandmother, and I was a tomboy working on a farm with her. She raised me like we were going from one village to another village. But by that time, that's when the war started. I met my mom at age 6, and she brought me to the city, Freetown City, at age 8, because I wasn't going to school. I was just with my grandmother, like going from one village to another, because she was a herbalist, and she do herbs to cure people. So she raised me because of how society treated my mom in their village or their town in Jala, because she had a child with someone that is not of our race. So I was labeled as an outcast. So my grandmother
Hmm.
raised me, so I was with her. So when then the war started, so we had to go from one village to another because that's where the war started. It started in the provinces where it was the war attacked this town today, and then people have to migrate and
Yes.
go move to
Yes.
another town.
Yes.
So we were doing that until we
Yes.
end up in the city. And then in this in
Freetown.
the, yes, in the city, I remember I was 11 when they took over, the rebels, like they took over, and then the president, like they sanctioned the whole country, and then I think the president gave a command to some people that were doing like sending rocket launches. But I was in there, and then what these people didn't see is the rocket launches wasn't killing the rebels. He was killing their own people,
Of
its
course. Of
own
course.
country,
Of course. Of course.
its own
Yes. Yes.
kingsman. He was
Yes.
killing us.
Yes.
Yes, I see
Yes.
people. I see on I can't say it because it's too graphic. Here for people to be
Yes.
watching, but I see things that I can't explain. And then
Yes. Yes.
the Nigerian soldiers, they came to rescue us. And then when they came, I
Yes.
remember one of them, that was the first one. The one of them was shot.
Hmm.
Their commander was shot, and then he was taken care of right in front of me because I
What age?
age 11 going to
Age
12.
11.
Yes,
Seeing all of that. Yes.
yes.
Hmm.
So he was shot
Hmm.
in front of
Hmm.
me, and then he was shot, and then they were taking care of his wound. The Nigerian soldiers. He ended up, I think, after that, when he came back to Nigeria, he ended up being the president of Nigeria. I think his name is Obasanjo. That was
Of
before
course. Yes. Obasanjo.
1999.
Yeah.
Yes, that was before
Yes. Yes.
1999. So yes, all this while after the
Hmm.
war, 1999, January 6th, I was 13 going to 12 now when they came in and burnt our
Hmm.
house, and I was kidnapped by the rebels. And I was with them for 4 days. And everything that I'm saying, it's in the book. So
We will talk about the book. We'll talk
yes,
about the book. I want us to not be spoilers.
yes,
There's a lot about you. Uh, let's go back. We talked
yes,
about what you want to do,
yes,
but we skipped the fact that you are a writer, you're an author, right?
yes, I am.
You
Yes,
wrote
I
a
am.
book
Yes, I was
because
inspired.
your story is one that needs to be written, and you did that already.
Yes,
And in your future, I see a documentary, I see a movie. So because
thank you.
it needs to be, and this is not because what? Yes, please receive it, because what what comes out of individual stories is so many different things. One can read and know about your story and get inspiration that has to do with giving. One can read your story and know about your life and be inspired to do something that is related to forgiveness. One can so there's forgiveness, there's giving, there's resilience, there's determination. So the stories about you, but a million people that are exposed to your story can be inspired to do different things in the world. That's why bringing stories like this and actually being willing to share, putting it in a book that will outlive you,
Mhm.
there's so much gift in that. I don't think you have any idea how much you're given. Yes, we'll circle around what your story is and what's in the book
Yes.
without spoilers.
Yes.
My audience and I will read it, and we will find time again to sit and talk about the book.
Book.
Let's
Okay.
go back to a few things. Sis, there's just so much in your story. So here you are with your grandmother. The war has started. It's you and a grandmother navigating through war in Sierra Leone. How long were you in the middle of all of that chaos with your grandmother and didn't leave Sierra Leone?
So I was with them. I'm gonna say many, like, it started when I was 9,
Yes.
and then we left Sierra Leone after the war, January 6th. We left Sierra Leone after they burnt our house, and I was kidnapped by the
Hmm.
rebels. And then, the ECOMOG, we call them ECOMOG, the Nigerian soldiers, came and rescued
Ecomoc,
us
yes, yes.
again, yes, for the
Okay, yes,
second
yes,
time.
yes,
And then, when after the rescue was when we had the opportunity, when Guinea opened the borders and start receiving refugees. So we
yes,
sought refuge
yes.
in Guinea Conakry, and I lived there for 4 years until they
4 years,
signed.
okay.
Yes,
4 years in Guinea Conakry, okay.
until the sign in 2020, I mean 2002, that the war was over. That is when we returned back home to Sierra
Yes.
Leone. And then,
So you returned back to Sierra Leone in
yes,
2002.
yes, after
And
the
so
sign, that the war
2002,
was
and you
over.
stayed in after they signed,
Yes,
when they said it's officially over,
yes,
and you returned back right away, and you were there 6 years before
yes,
you came to the US.
yes, I did. I lived there for
Um,
6 years.
like as a kid, because as a kid, I was in primary school when the war started, and when West African countries, the Gambia included, started opening up the border.
Hmm.
Kids joined me in school, in primary school, Sierra Leonean refugees, of whom I still know. I still know on social media. There was a lot of Sierra Leonean refugees that came, and at that age, you have no understanding of what all these people faced as they came, right? And when I think about that now, these were kids that not only were they displaced, but show up in a brand new country. There's similarities in culture, but there's a vast difference in language
Correct.
and a sense of belonging, and people looking at you and not only having judgments, but kids are kids,
Hmm.
whether it's teasing or bullying or just these are not adults, right? And
Yes,
so you can only imagine, hence we're talking about the war. So imagine escaping war and going to start a brand new fight in a place that you don't know. Like you mentioned, you left Sierra Leone for Guinea Conakry, where the country officially speaks French.
French,
So
Maningo, lines
if
also.
in school, yes. So when you come, so if you have a dialect like Mandingo and Fulani, maybe you'll be lucky, you'll find other people. But if it's that kind of like centralized language that officially people share, coming from Sierra Leone, speaking English and Creole, you go to Guinea Conakry, even communication will be hard.
It was.
So all of that was a fight, even though there were no bullets and guns and missiles anymore. But all of that was a fight,
Yes.
and you survived that in Guinea Conakry. You went back home. Tell me about that 6 years before you left Sierra Leone for the US, because now a lot of people returning to a country that has been shattered by war and trying to
Hmm.
survive during those 6 years. Tell me a
I
little
will
about that.
say, the 6 years that I lived there after the war, when I went back, I went to boarding school, and I was in boarding school for a
Mhm.
year, or so and a half, and then I left the school because The culture, everything is different when you go to boarding school. They teach you,
Mm-hmm.
how to be independent and all of that. But it wasn't the
Mm-hmm.
same. Sierra Leone was never the same for me. So I tried really hard to be. So I was set back for many years not going to school. And I started
Of
school
course, of
at a
course.
very late age. But I was very smart. Still smart, not bragging.
Yeah,
But
of course.
the
Hey,
setback,
you better.
the setback was huge. It was huge. The
Yes,
years that I had to stay, and then going back there, the education for me, the system, or as of today, is not the same. It's not the same because when I was growing up, going to
yes.
school, we Sierra Leone used to have like had the first university in West Africa. We have Ghanaians coming
Of
from
course.
Ghana
Yes,
going to
yes.
school in Sierra Leone.
Gambians,
Gambian,
Nigerians.
yes.
Yes, yes,
So, but
yes,
when I went back,
yes,
it was never the same. It was the system, everything is just it's just so different. As of today, it's still different. It's so hard. And then
of course, of course.
I just it was I lived there the 6 years, but I was like just I started drifting away a little bit, like drifting away from the
Yes,
country, the people, and then
yes,
that hate
yes,
was in me. But then I can't blame
yes.
all the people that I was with because of what happened. Because I believe we all witnessed,
Mm-hmm.
when this hate started,
Yes,
the greed, everybody thought, oh, it's just gonna affect their people. They didn't know that
agreed.
it's gonna affect the whole
Mm,
country. And it is the people that make the country.
mm-hmm.
So they didn't know that it was gonna affect all
Mm-hmm.
tribes. They thought it was just gonna affect this tribe and
Everybody.
those people. So living there that 6 years actually wasn't easy for me. It was really difficult because I never
Mm-hmm.
see the Sierra Leone that I love, the country that I love, and my motherland, and I still love the
Mm-hmm.
country. But as of today,
Yes,
it's
I
still not
still love
developed.
the country.
After the war, it's still not
I still
developed. It
love
is.
the
I go there
country.
every year to go visit. I see
So
how
now
people.
you go every year now.
I go every year. Yeah, I go every year to visit. As much as I'm still upset, I love my motherland. I can't help
Oh
it.
my God.
I have to go.
See what I was about to ask next. Next. So you left. You've been here about 15 years. Is it
Yes.
15
Yeah,
years?
15.
Um, um, let's talk about the U.S. because now that you've said all of this about Sierra Leone, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
uh, as part of the theme here at STEM to Roots, we can't help but compare sometimes. We
Yes.
can't help but look for that contrast. So 15 years you've lived here, and this is, as far as an adult goes, this is most of your adult life here in the U.S.
Yes, it
Um,
is.
how have you lived, just generally? How have you lived in comparison to home?
Well, when I came here, I um the it's just the culture,
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
don't believe like cultural wise it's like
Mm-hmm.
they don't have it here. Other than that, for me, I always tell people, like, I see kids, or like I try to advise them, like, you are in a land that has all the opportunities that we don't have. Okay? This is, and I'm speaking in all, like, for all Africans. We don't have the opportunities that they have here. When I see kids for like foster care, saying, oh, I live in the ghetto and this and that, and I try to motivate them and by telling them that I compare our country and theirs, right? And I'm telling
What
them,
they
you
call
have
in the
you
ghetto, yeah.
yes, you have education free until you go to college, and even that you have student loan financial aid to help
Mm-hmm.
you become a
Mm-hmm.
better person. You have
Mm-hmm.
we don't have free education. You
Mm-hmm.
have I think they have food stamp or so for people that can
Yes,
afford.
yes,
Yeah,
yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it meets like the minimum wage or so. You have that
Yes, yes.
support. We don't have that in
Mm.
Africa.
yes,
If you
yes,
don't, if your parents don't have, you suffer. You don't eat that day. I promise you that.
yes,
And then when
yes,
they said,
yes.
"Oh, when you're sick, you have Medicaid," we don't have that. If you're sick, you don't have money to go to the hospital. You die. Just that's it.
Mhm, mhm,
So,
mhm,
like I try to tell them, they are in a country that have all the opportunities. Now, when we come here, and they're jealous because when they see us coming, we see all those opportunities and we grab them because we don't have. Yes, we grab them because we don't have that in Africa. But this is a beautiful land, and they when I went to school here, learned how these people fought so hard to give them all those opportunities that they have, and they're not making use of it. It just hurt me so bad. But this is a beautiful land. It is. It's
yes,
beautiful. It's
yes,
full of opportunities.
yes,
It's full of opportunities. And if you want to become
yes.
anything, this is a place that you can be whatever you want to be. Yes.
Like a rider, like
Yes.
somebody
Like
who
a,
went
like
through
an author.
war,
Yes. You can
left
even
left
become another phrase, like Obama. See?
let's go back. Let's go back in this comparison that you've just touched on.
Yes.
You mentioned a thing that has been echoed here over and over and over. So in talking about the last 15 years of your life here in the
Yes.
US, you're mentioning things. A big war, there is opportunity. You're
Yes.
comparing opportunity here to where we come from. You talked about systems where
Yes.
if you're a certain you're a certain income bracket and you hit that poverty line and you're below that poverty line, they have systems in place, whether it's Medicaid that helps kids and families on the healthcare side, whether it's, you said, food stamps and all government social network that they have that
Hmm.
helps all kind of families, and you're comparing that to where I come from, what I've experienced. If you don't have it, if your family doesn't have it, there is no government safety net like that. So survival is even harder. You're comparing it to being in a beautiful land, you call it, full of opportunity, where you can become anything you want, literally, even if you
Hmm.
don't have that money. Education starting somewhere where it's free, to where when it starts costing you money, there's government programs, financial aid, that you will end up with loans, but you will be educated. So you've mentioned all these things that are a contrast. You've experienced it now that you live here, and yet, you love your country, you love your continent so much, you go back yearly,
Yes.
and you keep seeing this over and over. You see the population of people in Africa, and then you come back again here and live with that. How many other places have you visited in Africa recently?
So, I was here. I found my father for the first time here in America in 2021. And
Whoa,
2021,
whoa, 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 whoa. You kind of just throw that in there just like that. You
yes.
just you just throw that in there, like, just like the story of your father is in the book.
Yes, it is.
All right, all right. So I'm not gonna ask too many questions about that. Let's just say you found your father here in the US after all those years,
Hmm.
and then you went back home. Now continue from there. Let's keep your father
So
for
that
now.
same year, like actually it's a month apart. So I am a person that after everything that I've been through, anything that
Hmm.
happens to me, I try to see the positive side out of what happened to me. And then I start try
Wow.
to see, even if I miss my way, I tell
Hmm.
myself I missed this way for a reason. I think God is trying to tell me something. That's just how I think mentally, my own philosophy.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Hmm.
um the month that I met my father, the following month, June 21st, 2021, I
Here in the
received a call.
US. Here in the
Yes,
US.
yes. And then I received
Okay.
a call from my younger sister back home saying that my mom is healed. This is a lady that I just left 6 months ago. She was fine. But she told me she wasn't feeling well. So I keep sending money like, oh, go to the hospital. They keep diagnosing her wrongly. In Sierra Leone, she's keep giving a wrong diagnosis. Like, you have this, you have heart enlargement, you have that, you have. top epic top whatever ulcer that is. I've never heard of it. So I flew there and I went back home, learned that my mom was suffering. I took her to the American hospital. I learned that my mom was suffering from, we only have one cardiologist in Freetown. And then I learned that my mom was suffering from heart failure and she needs an urgent cardiothoracic surgery. Like she needs her valves replaced. If not, she was going to die. And then I just sat there confused, like, okay, so they said, well, you have to fly her out because Sierra Leone don't do open heart surgery. They don't give open heart surgery. And I'm sitting there, where do I take my mom? So I went to the American embassy and I asked them, like, I filed for my mom, I'm a citizen, but my mom is sick. And after they look at me like the consulate, they say, oh my God, we're so sorry you're going through this, but we are going to give you examples of places like countries that you can take your mom that will help her out, that do like do the surgery successfully. And then they say you can take her to Malaysia or you can take her to Ghana or Nigeria. So, long short story short, the recent country that I've visited so far is Ghana. I took my mom there and stayed there for 2.5 months where she had a successful open heart surgery in Ghana, and I learned so much about their culture whilst I was there taking care of my mom. Yes, and I was amazed. I was amazed at the technology and see just how Ghana is so improved. You see a lot of Americans going there exploring. If they can do an open heart surgery, I mean, even when I came here and I showed my mom's picture, and then people will ask me like, Americans, where they did this in Africa? Yes, yes. And I've been to, of course, Gambia. I love when I was back home. Those 6 years that you asked me, right? I can't stay in Sierra Leone, so I used to travel to Senegal and Gambia, Senegal, Gambia, Nigeria. I can't, and I love Gambia. Ooh, and Senegal, I love the culture. You guys, like Gambia has been like most advanced before Ghana and all of these, all of those other African countries
Okay.
came in. You guys were ahead because I had my visa in Senegal and I have 6% of Senegalese in me. I found that out.
Oh, beautiful,
Yes,
beautiful,
but I've just
beautiful.
said I went all the way to. I have something that I'm gonna say here is off record of my book. So I went visited
Talk to me.
Gambia 2008 before I came here, right? And then I was waiting for my visa, and I'm like,
Right
okay,
before
let
you
me go
came, man.
visit Gambia, and I went to a town called Basse. So I wanted to
You
see.
went to the end of Gambia.
Yes, I wanted to see because where the slave trade was going on. I wanted to go see it. So
Yes,
I took this.
yes,
It's not even a ferry. It's like a flat thing, and you just hold onto this thing, and it cross you with the water. I'm like, what if an alligator jump here? We are gone. But I was, but I was
yes,
so adventurous. I
yes,
don't care. They said, "Oh, the ferry is here." I
yes. You
said,
did
"You
it.
just the ferry?" So I went to
Yes,
Basse, and then
yes,
I walked into this guy. He was a seer, and then he told me that he has blue eyes, and then his name is Elijah, and he told me
yes.
that you are going to America definitely, but you are going to find your father. And then he said, and you are going to have a child with one person. And I'm like, okay. So when he said you're going to find your father, in my head, I'm like, whatever. My dad is dead. Don't know that man. It doesn't exist. I don't know what you're talking about, but okay. And then he said, you are going to be very wealthy. I said,
Wow.
so see, I'm receiving it now. Because all the two prophecies, the three prophecies that he said, two came to light. If I can find my father, so I know I'm gonna be very wealthy. That is, yeah, that one is.
Yes, yes.
So
You
he
just made me
asked,
scream. Yes, you are.
yeah, man.
Yes.
So he
Keep
asked
going.
me. So he said,
Yes.
I want you to do. we call it like a surah, Sarah, like a sacrifice, but he gave
Yeah.
like said buy a silver
Yeah.
ring and then cook and give it to someone. So when I went to Senegal for my
Yes.
interview, I gave it, I do the sacrifice and give it to someone.
Yeah.
I mean, the surah with
Yeah.
silver ring. And then the people look at me in Senegal and say, "Oh, this what's it called, Sarah or Surah or sacrifice, this thing
Yeah.
that you do,
Yeah.
and it's only
Yeah.
meant for people that are gonna achieve great things." And I'm sitting there like, "Oh, okay, okay." So,
Okay,
but
I'll take
I mean,
it.
I just want to
Yeah.
share it. Like he literally saw that I was gonna find my father, and then I would come to America, have a child, and all those things would happen, and I didn't believe it at all, and it's happening. I found
And
my father.
when you came to the US, 2008, you found your father when? What
2021.
year?
2021.
You found your father 2021. You're married to a man and have a child. So,
Yes.
all right, the world part. This is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. It's coming. I'm just glad I know you now. So I'm just glad I know you now. I cannot believe a half hour has gone by, and
Oh,
I cannot believe it, and we've not scratched the surface. I just want us to take a breather. At
okay.
this point of our conversation here at STEM2Roots, we call it Tell Me Something You Think I Don't Know. If I know it, I'll tell you, what do you think I am? You think I'm slow or something? I know that. And I'll give you a chance to give me something else. But if I don't know it, one thing I do is admit that I don't know it. I'm sure I'll learn from it, and a lot more people will learn from it. Do you have anything you think I don't know that you want to share?
Well, I don't know if you know it, but I did not know it until I traveled last
Tell me.
year when I went to visit. I've always wanted, I'm a big fan of late Bob Marley, the legend. So I went to,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, so I went to Jamaica last year.
Yeah.
And then I
Uh huh.
always wanted to do the 9 mile tour. Like the 9 mile tour, basically,
Yes.
you go into Jamaica and they take you. It's a 2.5 hours to get there up the mountain. Where this is Bob Marley's home,
Hmm.
where he wrote his song, where
Yes.
he used to live.
Yes.
Because I went in,
Yes.
sat on
Yes.
his bed. I went into his house,
Yes.
touched his grave. I mean the stone, because he's
Yes.
buried six
Wow.
6 feet
Wow.
above. I don't know if you know that. So he don't want to be
I did
down.
not.
Okay. So he doesn't want to be 6 feet under. So he told, like, they send a stone from for I think they said the Egyptians, so they send a stone, like it's a big huge stone, but he's buried 6 feet up, not under. That's one. Second, I've always
Oh,
like,
you've not even given me yet. I didn't know that. Uh huh.
yeah,
Uh huh.
yeah. So second, I always wonder, like, why do Jamaicans, because when I was in Ghana, I'm like,
Yeah.
Jamaicans. So this is like this. I got those bracelets from Ghana, and
Yes.
I got the other
Yes.
one from
Yes.
Jamaica. Do they have
Cowrie
the
shells. Yes.
same,
Yes.
like the same colors? So did
They
you
have the
ever
same
know
colors.
why
Yes.
they have the same colors, like the
No.
flag? So
No.
during
No.
slavery, one day we'll do like bringing people, the people that are free, the black Africans that are free, that settles
Yes.
in Jamaica are from Ghana. And for all this while, the
Mm.
Jamaicans have been trying to trace their ancestry, like their ancestors, and see where the root where they came from.
They still are. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Hmm.
So they found out that they are from the Ashanti Kingdom, which is in Ghana. And I know
Ghana. Yes.
the cardiologist there, cardiac surgeon that operated on my mom is from Ashanti
On
Kingdom.
your mom.
Yes, on my mom.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes. That's a lot
it's
of
from
us. Yes.
Ashanti Kingdom.
Yes.
So I learned that they share the flag as a, what
Yes.
do you call, like a tribute of their
Yes.
to their root. So that is why they share this.
Oh, that's why they do a lot of red, yellow, green.
Yes.
Yes, 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 yes,
So
yes,
that
yes.
is why. And then as
Ah.
of today, Bob Marley's wife is still living in Ghana. As of today, she still lives in Ghana. That's what I heard. That when we went to the tour, that's what they told
Oh.
us. Yes. So
You touched on where his Bob was buried. You touched on the color, that red, yellow, green, why they chose that. You
yes.
touched on Bob Marley's wife, where she lives. And I asked for only one thing. Oh my God. I didn't know all of that. All my visits to Jamaica, I end up at these touristy areas of Montego Bay and Negril. I want to go to Kingston so bad to go see this. So I can't wait to make
You
my
should.
own tribute because I
It's
love Jamaica.
you should. It's to die for. It's I did a because when you will go there, they will take you to his plantation, his home, and then so his home and where he writes his song are different. And when they say Mount Zion, is where he
Yes, Manza.
born and he was
Oh,
buried. So his home is right here. They're like facing each other, opposite where he used to live, and then his is the where he is buried. They make like a home with
Mount
a stone
Zion.
in there. So it's yeah,
Wow,
it's really
that's
beautiful. When
beautiful.
you go there, it's really
I'm
when
glad you
you
did
touch
that.
his stone, like you see the music. It's like everything is alive.
Ah,
Yeah,
no, now
beautiful.
I can't wait,
Yeah,
and I'm sure a lot of people are hearing that. They will be intrigued. You want to know where that
yeah,
talented human being came from and all his inspirations.
yes.
Sis, listen, there's a whole lot more as you were talking. That I told you my script was gone as soon as you introduced yourself. So there's just so much that I want to bring up. I want to go back to your visits, right?